What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday night, and we just finished WrestleMania Backlash. It just went off the air a few minutes ago, and I gotta admit, I didn't. I'm not sure what my expectations were coming into tonight, especially coming off of the UFC show that we watched last night. But I have to say, I was actually quite impressed with the show. It was a lot of rematches from WrestleMania. And so when you looked at the card, I kind of thought, we're just going to see more of the same, what we saw at WrestleMania, probably some different results. But I'm going to be honest, that was a pretty entertaining show. There was really only one match, really only two matches that I just didn't care about. Didn't care about at all. But the rest of the show was pretty entertaining. The main event and the opening match, and really the women's match, in all honesty, were really high quality matches. So you got a lot of good wrestling tonight, and it was just a fun show. And then we're going to get into it. I want to talk a little bit about WWE as a whole and kind of the direction they're going, and why I think there's a lot of hope for WWE going forward. And in all honesty, maybe the opposite for AEW, which is a hot take. It's a controversial take, but I want to get into it a little bit tonight. I was going to save that topic for next week when I do the Ludacast. But I don't know if I'm doing the Ludacast next week now, because I think I'm going to cover the UFC Fight Night that's happening next week. So there might not be a Ludacast. So maybe I'll cover that topic today. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you guys. This is night 2 of a 3-night kind of event, because tomorrow we're going to be doing Impact Wrestling's Under Siege event. I have not watched it yet. I plan on watching it tomorrow, and I've heard good things about it. So at some point tomorrow, we're going to go live with that. And I'm kind of excited to watch that. I'm always excited to watch Impact. I'm always excited to watch other promotions, like promotions I don't usually watch or I don't watch on a weekly basis. It's always just kind of exciting to watch some of the other guys. You know what I mean? I mean, AEW, I watch regularly. WWE, I watch kind of regularly. So, I don't know. But it's always fun to watch little guys. So we're going to get into that. I also, I'm also kind of interested in maybe doing a Doctor Strange review. I haven't seen it yet, but I might see it this week. Maybe, I don't know. I might see it soon. Let's see if I can talk my friends into going and seeing it. May end up seeing it, and then I might do a review for that too. I don't know. So we might have that coming up on the channel, but a lot of good things coming up. A lot of things to be excited about. So anyways, welcome. If you like this video, I'll get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Please like, share, subscribe. Comment in the comment section what you thought of tonight, what you thought of the event. I'm interested in knowing. If you catch this live, comment in the comment section. If you catch this on the replay, comment in the comment section and let me know, because again, in all honesty, didn't know what to expect tonight, but I think we got a pretty entertaining show. I think overall it was a pretty entertaining show. But let's kick off with I did not watch the pre-show. As a general rule of thumb, I don't watch pre-shows because it's usually just a couple matches nobody cares about and a lot of build-up that I've already seen for the pay-per-view, right? If you watch the weekly shows, you don't really need to watch the pre-show. They don't really build feuds in the pre-show. They don't, you might get a couple promos, but there's really nothing new that's added in the pre-show of these pay-per-views. So, in all honesty, I just didn't see the point of watching it, so I didn't. But I did catch the main show. And we kicked off tonight with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. As many of these matches was a rematch from WrestleMania. And I'm going to pull up WWE.com because I always like to have a little guide to go. So the match at WrestleMania between these two was very good. It was my match of the night. I know a lot of people had Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch as their match of the night, and that was a good match. That was my number 2 match. But match of the night, WrestleMania was 2 nights. I actually think that this was the match of the show, was Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I think they stole the show. And so I kind of came into tonight thinking, well, this match tonight is probably not going to be as good as their Mania match, because their Mania match was very solid. And that's not true at all. This match was fantastic. This was probably once again the match of the night. I kind of go between this and the main event, because the main event was really good. I think I lean a little heavier towards the main event actually being match of the night. Um, but this was another good outing from Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and it kind of like the crowd. Okay, so one of the problems that Cody had in AEW was he wrestles a very WWE style, and the crowd in AEW, they just couldn't get behind Cody Rhodes. Some of that was also the booking in AEW. Cody was very much booked like a baby face that the crowd just wanted to hate. He was very much booked as kind of the privileged guy, and I don't think the booking in AEW did Cody any favors. It's a different audience than WWE as well, but Cody Rhodes is built for WWE. The WWE style fits Cody's style a lot better, and Cody is very over with the crowd. The crowd was very much behind Cody Rhodes, as they're supposed to be. But I also just think that Cody's matches have improved significantly since he's come back to the WWE. And I don't think that's because Cody is any more talented than he was in AEW. I don't think that's because Cody does things a lot differently than he did in AEW. I just think it's because the WWE style fits Cody Rhodes a lot more than AEW ever did. So Cody's back. They're pushing Cody big. Cody's a big star. And it's honestly great. And him and Seth have a lot of chemistry together. As we saw at WrestleMania, they had a lot of chemistry here in this match. The match kicked off. The two were trading momentum back and forth. There was a lot of great moves, a lot of near falls. There was a splash that Seth Rollins hit off the top rope on Cody. That was an incredible splash. It was like picture perfect splash. Seth got so much air coming off that top rope, landing on Cody. It was a really beautiful splash. Just a lot of back and forth. The finish came when Rollins was going for the dusty punches, kind of the jab, 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 and then the dusty punches, so I'll call them. Cody reversed it into a crossroads. He went for another crossroads, which was reversed by Rollins. Rollins tried to roll Cody up, holding the tights, but Cody flipped it around, held the tights, got the 3 count on the roll up. It was a very solid match. Went about 30 minutes. These two, like I said earlier, they just have great chemistry. And Cody ended up coming away with the win again. So that's 2 wins over Seth Rollins for Cody. I don't know that they're going to continue this feud. They might, but I honestly don't see the point. I mean, you could do like a Hell in a Cell match with these two, but I don't see the point of continuing this fourth. So we'll see where they go. I mean, Cody's got to find himself in the title picture at some point to really push him for that. The story, behind all of this and Cody's return is, Dusty never got the big one in WWE. And Cody's kind of saying, I've come back here to do what my father never did. And so that's the story here, is that Cody is going to get himself a title. At some point, that is likely going to come to fruition. I don't know when. I don't know how or when you take the title off of Reigns. I honestly don't think that now is the right time. If you build a feud between Cody and Reigns, I could see Cody being the one taking the title off Reigns if Cody can maintain the momentum that he has now as a babyface. But Reigns, in my opinion, is in another league. We will talk about that later. I don't know if McIntyre's the guy to beat Reigns. They're certainly building McIntyre versus Reigns. I mean, that was the whole main event, was building towards these two facing off. So that's where they're going next. But I don't know what they're going to do with Cody, and I don't know what they're going to do with Seth. So I'm interested to see, maybe these two have a third match in Hell in a Cell, but I'm just not certain at this point how you build that match. I will be curious to see it. Let's just say that. So after this match, and I got to find the right graphic here on WWE.com. I'm going to try to keep my graphics with when I talk about the matches. All right, so we get a Bobby Lashley vignette, and this is just recapping kind of Lashley's career, and then that rolls right into Bobby Lashley versus Omos with MVP in his corner. And I was not excited about this match, I'll be honest with you. I have a general problem with big guys in wrestling. I understand their value, and I understand why they're a draw, and I get why Vince loves them, and I get why you have them in the ring. But I'm not impressed with Omos. Some people are. To me, Omos is just a generic big guy. He's just super tall. But I from what I've seen of him in the ring, I don't get it. I don't think he's any better than some of the other big guys I've seen. I think some of the other big guys I've seen have a lot more charisma than Omos does. And I know he's young in his career, and he may build to be something great and to have a lot of charisma, but right now I'm just not impressed. And this match was not impressive to me at all. You had kind of the traditional little guy versus big guy. It's kind of funny that we're talking about Bobby Lashley as the little guy in a match because Bobby is a brick freaking house. But in this instance, Bobby Lashley was kind of David taking on Omos's Goliath. So you had these two battling back and forth. The story of the match was Lashley trying to get control and keep control from Omos. I wrote down classic big man shit, and that's exactly what this was. This match was total classic big man shit. Just not in all honesty, not a good match. I don't think Omos has a lot of room to grow. He really does. And Lashley should be doing better things. I think Lashley's another guy who really should be in the title picture. And there's kind of no reason for him not to be. But anyways, Lashley trapped Omos. His arms between the rope at one point was teeing off. MVP distracted Lashley. The Lashley cane that was when MVP was trying to get Omos out of the ropes. So he used his little pimp cane and tried to get Omos out of the ropes. The finish did come though with MVP distracting Lashley. Omos kind of hitting a double choke slam move to get the win. This match was bad. I thought it was bad. And I don't know if they're building to Lashley versus MVP or if we're going to see Lashley versus Omos in a Hell in a Cell match. My gosh, I really hope not. The reason I keep saying Hell in a Cell is because that's the next pay-per-view coming up is Hell in a Cell. And I hope not. I honest to goodness, I really hope they just kill this feud and let's move on. They're not going to because Lashley's got to get his win back. But I just don't want to see any more of this. I really don't. And Omos needs a lot of seasoning. If he's ever going to be something big in WWE, and he might be, he's got the size. They're going to push him to the moon. That's for sure. But the dude needs a lot of season. You think about NXT and what is NXT for, if not to take a guy like Omos and build him up. I don't know, man. He's not winning me over, that's for sure. Some people like this. Not me. The winner was Omos. This was a 1-star match. It just wasn't good. There was a terrible spine buster in this match. And this is how I know Omos is bad. It's not just a Styles thing. It's not just he's just a generic big guy. He's just bad. Lashley goes to hit a spine buster on Omos, but Omos can't get himself up because he's so freaking big. So he can't get himself up really well for the spine buster. So the spine buster just looks like shit. And that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. I mean, I get you're going to botch moves. It's going to happen, right? No one's perfect. Everyone's going to make mistakes. But this is WWE. This is the top of the line, right? You shouldn't be botching shit. And it just shouldn't look that bad. And it did, in my opinion. So I just was not a fan of this match. And I don't know. There's a lot of room to grow there. So next up, we get Edge versus AJ Styles. And, it's weird because I had high expectations for this match, though I knew there was going to be a lot of chicanery and nonsense. This feud also isn't going anywhere, I don't think. But you had Edge's gimmick. So if you don't watch WWE regularly, maybe you're tuning into this because you're thinking about watching it, or you just don't want to watch it, but you want to hear about it, to stay caught up, and that's fine. But Edge's current gimmick is sort of like a Ministry of Darkness type gimmick. He's like the Undertaker in the Ministry. He's running a group that's sort of gothic in nature. Um, and I like it. I actually like the gimmick change because I think Edge was really in need of like a bit of a gimmick change. And so this gives Edge a little bit of a fresh, it takes Edge in a fresh direction, and it allows people to kind of, it gives a couple of other wrestlers who I really just thought didn't have too much going on some direction as the stable is going to build up. Uh, Damian Priest being one of those, putting him with Edge is kind of, I think, a good move. And as you'll find out later, Rhea Ripley. I was wondering if they were going to put Alexa Bliss in this stable. It's kind of a good landing spot for Alexa Bliss, but I guess it's also a good landing spot for Rhea Ripley too, who I don't think was really doing much of what she should be. They really needed to get Rhea out of that face, she out of the baby face realm and into the heel realm, because I think she's going to play a lot better heel. Edge wrestled this match very much the heel. There was no question who the heel was in this match, because Edge was definitely wrestling this match as a heel. And the story of the match was basically AJ Styles having a hurt shoulder and Edge taking every advantage that he could to work on that shoulder and weaken that shoulder. It was an okay match. It was fine. I don't think it was as good as it should have or could have been. I don't know why either, because I was thinking about this match, and I thought the match was fine. I just, for some reason, when I think, okay, Edge is going to be wrestling AJ Styles, in my mind, when I think of these two in the ring, I'm thinking 4 stars at a minimum, right? Even in the older years of his career, in the twilight of his career, Edge can still go, man. And AJ also, AJ is one of the best ever in the ring. So when I see these two are on a card, I'm thinking, hell yeah, baby. This is going to be 4 stars at a minimum. And I just, what? All in all, at the end, I gave this 3 stars. I will talk about the finish. Damian Priest comes out and, looking like he's about to get involved in the match. And then Finn Balor comes out to intercept Damian Priest. AJ gets on the top rope, gets on the turnbuckle. And then all of a sudden, a mystery person wearing a hoodie comes out, grabs AJ's foot. Edge was then able to get the submission as AJ passed out. So again, I don't think this feud is over, right? Because AJ did not tap, he passed out. Again, who's going to have the Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell? These two could be it, right? And I actually think that would be a great next step in this feud, is putting them in the cell. And you've got enough build here that honestly that makes sense. Like, of any feud that we had tonight that kind of was furthered, this is the one that I think, in my opinion, makes the most sense to put in a cell. Because interference, right? But how do you stop interference? You put the cell around them. So the story's there to have this in the cell. But anyways, it was pretty obvious to me that the person wearing the hoodie was Rhea Ripley. I thought it was like incredibly obvious. There was like no surprise. Who is this person? Well, obviously it's Rhea Ripley. And of course it was Rhea Ripley. She revealed herself and took the knee, and is the newest member of the Judgment Day stable. And I you know what? Again, I didn't like what they were doing with Rhea Ripley, where she was going from tag team to tag team. Rhea Ripley, this stable could be a fresh start for her too. And I'm excited to see what they do with this. Hey, Juggernaut 097, shout out to you, man. Thanks for checking out the channel. I actually appreciate you watching. What did you think of tonight's show? Because I liked it. We got a Bianca Belair vignette. There was a SmackDown women's title match, I Quit match. So what I found interesting about this, Charlotte Flair, the champ, going up against Ronda Rousey. We saw this match at WrestleMania. This was a feud that no one asked for, right? Going into Mania, I was disappointed that this was the feud, because I really wanted to see Becky and Ronda. And I thought that's where the money is that match. And I get why they didn't go that direction, right? Because Becky and Bianca had some history. You kind of needed to play into that as well. And we got a great match out of it. So I'm not disappointed that they went that route. But I'm salivating to see the Ronda Becky feud. You know what I mean? Another reason why I don't think they go that route is because Becky's clearly going to be the babyface in that feud. the wrestling fans are for sure going to cheer for Becky Lynch. But I don't know. So when Charlotte and Ronda, it's like, this is a match where you feel like you've seen it 1,000 times. You feel like you've been there, you've done that. It's like, come on, man, But tonight, in all honesty, hey, how was the Impact show, Juggernaut? Because I'm catching up on that tomorrow night. And I'm gonna do a post show on that too. But I'm catching up. I heard it was pretty good. I heard it was like worth watching. So I'm gonna check that out. You missed a pretty decent show tonight, by the way. So anyway, this match between Flair and Rousey was very good. Am I crazy for saying that? I actually thought this match was very good. It was a great brawl. I mean, the two women beat the hell out of each other. And it was all, the match was all around the arena. They're going back and forth all around the arena, just kendo sticks and chairs. At one point, the crowd was cheering for tables, and I'll never get the love for tables. I understand it. It's a cool spot. They make a loud noise. Everybody loves it. But I'm just like, man, there's so many cooler things these two girls could do besides putting each other through tables. And they did. They did. A lot of surprises. I heard that, Juggernaut. I'm excited to watch it, man. Come back tomorrow for that, because I'm going to be doing a post show on that as well after I get a chance to watch it. So anyways, the finish of this match. Okay, these two girls were talking trash to each other. They were beating each other all over the ring and all over the arena. It was a solid brawl, literally a solid brawl. Incredible match. I actually think the finish came. Well, let me talk about the finish first. So the finish comes. Charlotte grabs a chair. She's asking Ronda to quit, and she says, "Happy Mother's Day," and then Ronda makes her pay for it. She grabs the arm through the chair, and Charlotte has to quit. She has to quit. Again, Ronda wins. I thought this was a solid match. 3.5 stars is what I gave it. I was impressed with these two girls. I thought they did a hell of a job brawling all throughout the arena. Obviously later in the night, they said that Charlotte had broken her arm. So Charlotte's going to get some time off or whatever. And Ronda's the champ. So the interesting thing is, with Charlotte out of the picture, who's next for Ronda Rousey? And I guess we'll find out. We'll find that out. But all in all, I was really impressed with this match. This was a good effort from both of these girls. And I think now's a good time to bring it up. It's as good of a time as any to say this. Maybe this is a hot take. I don't really think it is. I think that WWE does a 100 times better with their women's division than AEW. And I know that is maybe a hot take, but I will be completely honest with you. Okay. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, great match. Booked very well. Tonight, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, great match. Booked really well. Told a story. The women's matches in AEW, I don't care about them. I just don't care. I really don't. Britt Baker was a star. She was a champion. And now that she's lost the title, you know what I mean? I just don't know. I don't care. But these WWE women's matches, I really do care. So I think WWE does a way better job with their women's division. I guess I should make my graphic match what match I'm talking about. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? I just think WWE does a far better job with their women. And I know that's a hot take. I get that that's a hot take, okay? But that's just what I think. Juggernaut says we should do a collab. Hey, I'm down for a collab, and I'll tell you what. Go subscribe to Juggernaut097 on YouTube if you want more wrestling content. Which, if you're here, I'm assuming you do. And I'd be down for a collab, man. I don't either, man. And I'll tell you what. It's like I could, if they would give me a solid women's match, and they would tell a good story, I could care, but I don't. And I know in wrestling, I watch Wrestle Talk, I watch What Culture, I see all this. You get damned for saying that. Like if you are not excited about women's wrestling, they will, you're almost like shunned, right? You're treated as a sexist or something. I'm not a sexist. I could get into women. Again, I liked tonight's match. Thought it was super good. I thought they did a great job. It's stories. It's women. I don't care. Give me good stories. You know what I mean? Yeah, Britt. Hey, Britt is a star. That is 100% true. The next match, we had a commercial, by the way. This is good. There was a commercial for some TV show. And it's they're talking about this show, and it's like this little girl has superpowers, and then Zac Efron he's in the show. He's got superpowers. And I swear I was thinking they're rebooting Heroes. Like, did anybody see that? Did you see this trailer and think instantly like, oh, they're bringing Heroes back? Why are they bringing Heroes back? What's the point? And then it turns out it's actually Firestarter, which is a Stephen King book. They're making that into a TV show. So we got a trailer for that. It looks okay, honestly. I mean, it looks like something I might watch. AEW does do good wrestling. They do. And they do struggle making stories, which is actually funny because I was going to do a video about this. My biggest thing with AEW is I've been into AEW since the beginning. I really enjoy AEW, but AEW relies way too heavily on the, oh my gosh, look, it's CM Punk. Oh my gosh, it's Bryan Danielson. Oh my gosh. You're almost more anticipating who's going to join AEW next than you are the matches or the stories. It's like, I think AEW needs to be careful that they don't turn into the surprise machine. Because right now that's kind of what they are. You watch a big event and you're just waiting. Who's coming? Who's next? Who's the big reveal? And I want a little more out of AEW than that, and I don't want to just tune into the shows to see which WWE wrestler I'm going to see next. So I agree. They definitely they have their struggles, and I'm worried that they might turn into. It's kind of weird because everybody used to complain about Impact Wrestling, TNA, when TNA was the WWE machine, when they were, oh, who's coming next? Which former WWE star are we going to see? Oh, it's Christian. It's, and everyone complained about TNA back then. And AEW is kind of the same thing, right? Like it's kind of, oh, look, it's Jay Lethal. Oh gosh, it's Adam Cole. Oh my goodness, when's Johnny Gargano going to come? Because we know that's probably going to happen at some point, right? I don't know. I want a little more. I want a little more. Next up, we got Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin. This is the match of the night that if I could pick a match of the night that I just did not care about, this is the one. I just didn't care about this. This is filler to me. Madcap Moss won with a sunset flip. 1.5. That's what I would give this match. I will say Corbin's improved in the ring a little bit from the last time Baron Corbin, no disrespect to Happy Corbin or Baron Corbin. But Baron Corbin is the guy that when his match comes on, I'm using the restroom or getting a drink or doing my thing, right? I can't get over the fact that Baron Corbin, I don't even think there's a graphic. Did they let me see if they put a little picture on. Oh, they did. They get a picture. Baron Corbin is my break time. That's Corbin. And again, if you like Corbin, more power to you. Madcap Moss, if you like him, more power to you. This match just wasn't much for me, and I am going to skip over it. It was fine for what it was, but it was nothing. We get a Drew McIntyre vignette covering his career. And then we get the main event of the night. Let me scroll up and find it so I can make my graphic match my talk. There it is. You had RK Bro teaming up with Drew McIntyre to take on the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. And I want to take, as I'm watching this and I'm seeing Roman come out, I couldn't help but think to myself, WWE spent years trying to make Roman the top guy. They wanted Roman to be that guy. And when Roman was a babyface, the fans didn't want to cheer him. They hated him. Well, fast forward to today. And in no uncertain terms, I think Roman Reigns is the guy. I really do. Roman's a star. Bottom, they've achieved what they've wanted to achieve for a long time with Roman Reigns. He has a presence about him. He plays this head of the table character incredibly well, spectacularly well. Roman, and again, I'm probably triggering people, right? Because people still want to hate Roman Reigns. But the truth is, I'm just being honest. Roman Reigns carries himself like the guy. And you believe it. The Bloodline stable is awesome. It's an awesome stable. It is. And Roman's the guy, man. So I was just thinking of this because I remember back when Roman was the baby face that they were just shoving down your throat and you just didn't want any more of him. But now I love Roman. I love him. I think he's fantastic. Randy Orton was very over in this match, by the way. The crowd was really into Randy Orton. And the whole build of the match was basically Roman Reigns trying to keep himself away from Drew McIntyre. This is the direction they're going. You know, we're going to get McIntyre versus Reigns, which I'm here for. I'm all right with that. They also seem to continue the feud between RK Bro and the Usos. So I don't know if they're legitimately going to go through with unifying these titles. Seems like maybe that's the direction they're going to go, but I also heard that they're not. They're not going to go that direction. They've changed their mind on that. So I don't know, but they were definitely continuing that feud. Like this match was built around taking these two feuds and moving them forward. And in all honesty, the first half of this match was a little slow as Roman was keeping himself out of it, trying to stay away from McIntyre. But the match in the second half, this was almost a tale of two matches. You had the first half, which was kind of slow and boring and took a while to pick up. A lot of it was just Riddle getting beat and not being able to tag out. But then the second half of this match picked up. It was fast-paced. It was really good and solid. Everybody put forth a great effort, and it was just a fun six-man tag match that did its job. It moved the stories from B to C, and we're going to keep going now into Hell in a Cell with these storylines, and I'm excited to see it. So all in all, I thought this was an entertaining match. The finish came. Roman hits the Superman punch on Riddle. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns wins. The Bloodline wins, and this was a solid match. So obviously the direction they're going, like I said before, you're going to get McIntyre and Reigns, and you're probably going to get the Usos and RK Bro. And I just think they're going to unify those titles. They certainly left the door open for it. But I'm here for Reigns and McIntyre. I think that's a good direction. I mentioned this earlier in the show. I don't know how Cody gets himself into this, but at some point, Cody is going to have to find himself in the world title picture. I just don't know when that's going to happen. But I don't think they're going to continue the Cody Rollins feud. So we'll see. Maybe Reigns keeps the title, beats McIntyre, and then Cody ends up facing. I almost think Reigns is going to keep the title until WrestleMania, right? Because the idea is they're building for Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania. So if you do that, I mean, at least this is what the dirt sheets are saying. So if you do that, I almost think maybe you got to keep the titles on Reigns, and then you build to that match. But then again, I think about it. Are they really going to have The Rock beat Reigns? I don't think so. Right? I mean, it's pretty obvious that Roman's going to beat The Rock at Mania. So maybe Roman just keeps the titles, defends them against The Rock, beats The Rock, drops them to Cody at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's not Cody. Seems like it should be Cody, right? I don't know. Curious as to how all of that'll play out over the next year. I guess we got a year, right? So it's going to be a while until we find out. But I am curious to see if Roman holds the title for that long. Yeah, Roman's the man. I agree, Juggernaut. He is. He's the man. He is the man. All those years where he wasn't. But now there's no question about it. Roman is their top guy. And yeah, yep. It is true. I am kind of surprised they didn't go that direction and have the faces win. That is true, actually. Like, you certainly maybe not have McIntyre pin one of the Usos, because then you're not damaging either of those feuds. McIntyre you're building McIntyre up a little bit to take on Reigns. That's true. That's actually a good point. And it would lead into the next pay-per-view a little more, versus having them just lose. which is kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, all in all, Backlash was actually a solid show. At the very least, it was entertaining. I had a good time tonight watching Backlash. And this is like the difference, too. Going back to the AEW conversation, I really think for all the bad writing and all of the nonsense that WWE and those CGI graphics, which I just can't stand. I cannot stand all of the CGI that they put in the wrestlers' entrances. I hate it. I really hate it. I get kids probably love it. I can't stand it. I think it looks so corny. But for all of that, the thing about WWE is I actually think WWE has some momentum now moving forward. I'm into the storylines. I'm into the direction that WWE is going with some of these feuds. And I'm kind of into to what they're doing. And that's something I can't say for WWE that I've experienced in a long time. I've been pretty stale and bored with WWE. But lately, between WrestleMania, which was which was very good, and Backlash, which was entertaining, I'm actually kind of excited to see where we go here. And tying into the AEW conversation that I had earlier, with AEW, I'm not sure I feel that way. I'm not sure I feel that way because, again, you get into these situations, and I don't really want to get into AEW too much, but you have this situation where you have, Adam Cole and CM Punk. They're going to wrestle for the AEW title. And in all honesty, when I think about it, I don't know who. I agree, Juggernaut. Raw has not been bad. And that's something that's like almost hard to say because Raw is just, in my opinion, it's been bad for so long, but it hasn't lately. It's actually been pretty entertaining. WWE's got momentum. But when you have Cole and you have Adam Cole and CM Punk, I almost think that's a tricky match to book because I don't know how you come out of that. Do you keep the title on Cole? Because I think maybe you should. But at the same time, I haven't been too impressed with Adam Cole's title run. And CM Punk is obviously the top guy in AEW. So what do? Maybe you turn Punk heel and you put the title belt on Punk? A heel CM Punk would be interesting. And also, you need to prevent Punk from getting stale, which is something that I could see happening. I really could. So if you turn him heel, you're going to prevent him from being stale. Maybe that's the direction they'll go. I don't know. But I'm curious how they book themselves out of that because that's an interesting situation where you're trying to build Adam Cole up. Or I'm saying Adam Cole. Adam Page. Thank you. That's exactly what I mean. Not Adam Cole. Adam Page. So you're building Page up. But what do you do? Are you going to just beat Punk? I don't know. Maybe I said Adam Cole because I wish it was Adam Cole. I actually kind of do. But I don't know. I don't know what you do with that. So I'm interested to see how they get themselves out of that, how they book that match. Maybe it'll be like just a DQ or something. I don't know. I don't know how they do that. But you've been building Page for so long, and Page is the champion. Just to have him lose to CM Punk. But at the same time, you're trying to keep Punk, I don't know. I guess Punk could lose and still maintain his momentum because he's CM Punk, right? I don't know. So I'm interested to see. But I'm also not as excited about that as I am of some of what WWE is doing. Time limit draw, I tell you what, Juggernaut, that's a good idea. But they've done that a few times now. And it's like, okay, AEW, you've done the time limit draw a few times. But you're right. They have that out and they could take it. And you'd get a really good match out of it, right? Because if it's hitting that time limit draw, I believe their time limit draw on pay-per-views is an hour. So if it's 60 minutes on pay-per-view, you're going to get a good match. They could go that direction for sure. Maybe you get a rematch then, or you just keep this going for a while. Again, though, ultimately, you're going to have to turn one of them heel. You think Punk's taking the title? I don't know, man. I think he is too. I actually think so too. I just wonder if it's going to be a face CM Punk or if he's going to turn heel and take that title. So I could see that. But all in all, Backlash, solid show. I would check it out. Worth a watch for sure. as I said earlier, tomorrow night we're going to be covering Under Siege. We're gonna watch that show tomorrow, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow night in another live stream. And then after that, I think what we're going to do is we are going to do UFC Fight Night next week. I think we're going to cover that, and we'll go from there. But anyways, I think we're going to call it here. It was a good night of wrestling. After that UFC pay-per-view last night, which left me kind of tonight was a good rebound from that. It was a solid show tonight. But I want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, like, share, subscribe, do all of the things. Also, Juggernaut097, check that channel out for additional wrestling content. Shout outs in the chat to him. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.